What's up, everybody? Good morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's get this pulled up. All right. So I took yesterday off, obviously. Bank holiday. First day after a crazy expansion on Friday. The flash crash, they called it. So we kind of just want to let price play out a little bit and not try to deal with that huge range we created. At the moment, let's go to a daily real quick. Already cleared yesterday's low. Honestly, I wouldn't mind more downside. Gonna have a very large new week opening gap, so I wouldn't mind trying to get into midpoint. That's kind of first objective. See if we don't want to retest midpoint of our new week opening gap we created. We're sitting inside of it now, so if we are going to get bullish, we might create some type of bullish framework within this. So kind of in a funky little spot. Ideally, I would like to see us go higher, but we need to pick up sell side first. So as we said, we could either pick up this low, even come back down and retest midpoint of new week opening gap. When you have such a large range gap like this, it is a little difficult to use just because we're a lot of space in here. So we'll break it down into its quadrants a little bit. Cleared yesterday's high. Wait, and low. So we already cleared previous day high and low as well. So morning might be a little choppy here. Opening up now. Let's bring up NQ. As you said, ideally we'll look for something higher. We're going to look for liquidity to be interacted with first on the downside. We actually left these relative equal highs. Wouldn't mind leaving that as we continue to work lower. Like to see at least the inversion here. We haven't come into this yet, you'll notice. So as we create the bearish fair value gap, we close above it here for the first time. No candle actually trades back into that. So we can still retest this and try to hold. For the time being, we'd like to see price make a move lower into that inversion. We left some relative equal highs behind, so it'll be nice to target if we're going to get bullish. External range here, relative equal highs, relative equal highs. Friday was crazy though, I can't lie. We'd left right before the crash, of course, but we haven't seen a move like that in a long time. Powell is speaking this afternoon, so we'll try to be done hopefully by 10:30. It'll be kind of a quick, if we can get our setup and get out, we'll be done before Powell starts yapping this afternoon. So far, rather slow. I just had kind of expect that, right? Large range heading into the opening. We already cleared previous day's high. Huge range overnight to clear previous day's low. Giving even a deeper run into that one standard deviation. One thing to note is that one standard deviation right from the open. So where's our open at? Here. So if we take the open, we've delivered one standard deviation. Surprisingly, that looks to be actually half of our new week opening gap. Yeah, so pretty much they share the same level. Which means if we do want to get more to the downside, we would look for that area to be retested again. So we're watching the inversion here. We said ideally wouldn't mind if we want to fall through that and actually pick up sell side liquidity in both ES and NQ. So we'll look for this level as well. Equal lows then. So we'll see if we can make our way down there. Let's say that we hold here. We'd have to create a fair value gap for us to kind of trust the break higher. So if we left an inefficiency, we can then invert that after holding the inversion. That may give us a little short-term run into these highs here. We're watching to see if we can get closure below. If we get closure below this fair value gap, then we would expect that release into our sell side here. We're gonna have a small volume imbalance. So this can once again act as another speed bump on the way down. But ultimately we would want price to fall through that as well, close below it, continue to work towards the actual sell side here. So there's closure below. Do we have a fair value gap here as well? We'll pull up that same inversion, but we reclaimed the bearish fair value gap, so we'd like to just see a release lower. We did retest the volume imbalance. As we said, we can expect quick hesitation from here. Ideally, we fall through that as well, though. Same idea in NQ. We were able to close below after holding below with the wick the first time. Same volume imbalance as well, so pretty much the same spot in both. We'll look for sell side. Once we get sell side, then we'll be interested in the highs again. First standard deviation is, let's see, that'd be here. It's just off this indicator, right? So the daily historical distance deviations, it just takes all of the daily ranges in the past, averages out to what the normal range would be if we're going to get like a large range day. I don't have it set at like a specific level or anything. It's just one standard deviation off the opening based on historical data. But for today, it's pretty much anchored to new week opening gaps, upper quadrant. So we'll expect that for sure. As we said, a retest of that. We did just pick up the sell side. We're looking for, ideally we leave the fair value gap here, right? Because then that can give us kind of early indication. We can flip, we invert that. Oh, interesting. Maybe I need to upgrade mine. Didn't realize it was a V2. Yeah, you can't really change it too much. It just shows the lines themselves. All right, we're actually going to see if we can leave this. This would be a better fair value gap to leave open to gauge future market interest. So we want to see that stay open. Same in NQ here. Seeming heavy, so we actually can target a low again if we're going to stay heavy. And as we said, midpoint of new week opening gap. If we're just going to want to continue to break down. So if we're going to be bearish, this should hold. This one We may trade into this, but this fair value gap should stay open. And then we'll look for that just continued sell-off into sell side again. External range here. NQ already picked up this low. So we'll look for ES to try to get there as well. Oh, I lied. We didn't get it yet. No, this is ES, that's why. There we go. Cool. So as we said, there's that liquidity we pick up in NQ. We fall just short of it. This is kind of where I would like to see this hold and try to actually clear that low. Because NQ did run that low, however, if we do start moving higher, we'll have to be open to the idea that we just want to run, and then we'll leave this low for another time. As you said, we could even retest this. We get above this, then I would expect more of a bullish retracement. We'd want to see something like this hold. You say leave this one as a breakaway if we're going to be bearish. And then run out these relative equal lows we've just created. We actually do hold the lower fair value gap midpoint. So seeing something like that, especially if we're going to close back below that fair value gap, we should continue to sell off. Old lows paired with fair value gaps. Right, those are very key areas in price. Let's see, closed. Oh, we did close above midpoint there. Okay, we'll see if this goes no wick straight down. As you said, still waiting for closure back below. We get closure below, we then would expect another release to clear the short-term low. Currently, we are still looking for one more run on sell side. So we don't really want to see that reversal taking place quite yet. We'd want this fair value gap to hold paired with our sell side. Oops. Put that there. We were able to still close below the original low, so that's good. But that will lead price to continue to want to gravitate lower. As we said, we couldn't come up into this fair value gap. We even would allow one more run to run this short-term high if we want to get it to midpoint. But retesting this up here has us believe we're going to go a little bit more bullish than bearish. And the reason for that is because really this range should be balanced from here, from this high down to this low. As we create this leg, first of all, you'll notice that we're retracing on the way down anyways. So everything in this upper quadrant as we break below has already been balanced. We then immediately refill in that fair value gap and deliver the swing low. So as we create that swing low and we retrace into this range, right, we're once again repricing all of the inefficiencies in here. And now as we move away, that becomes rebalanced. So as soon as we close below this level here, until we reach our next liquidity, there's no need to return into any of these deeper inefficiencies, which is why we knew this one would stay open here. And the highest one used would be this, and barely got into that. So really we were just using that original sell side. So from there we do pick up our second sell side, nice. Now we'll see if we want to actually reverse. I wouldn't mind that. All right, we've put in a swing high. If we can reverse, break through that swing high, close above the fair value gap, that's what we'd want to see for the bullish run if we're going to try to target this high here. As we said, we are balanced here. So if we're going to stay heavy, we should close below this low. We get closure below this low, we'll kind of switch our bias for the short term. And we're going to look for our opening range and midpoint more than anything. So we'll look for more of a continued sell-off rather than a reversal off this liquidity here. There it is, aggressive. So yeah, just heavy still. So midpoint should be the next objective. Holding it nicely. As we said, very huge new week opening gap, so we're gonna have to just split that up into quadrants if we're gonna stay heavy. Go like this. Cool. So the quadrants are always nice to have, and as we said, our standard deviations for today are anchored pretty much to the quadrant levels as well. Is that a volume imbalance? We might try a volume imbalance entry with the fair value gap here. We're going to try to just hop on board and expect price to stay bearish. That fair value gap should be done. All these trades are going to be large ranges because we just have a large range in general. So the stops are going to be larger than we normally would like, but we'll have to allow that with the range we're in. Risk will still be the same, so not much will change, to be honest. Now it's going to hop on board with the short. Because of that, we can only use one contract with the risk. At this point, we look for bounce off midpoint, retracement into upper quadrant here. Fair value gap. Then we'll actually go in between both of these for the final exit. Fell short of midpoint. I don't mind that. Leaving this low. Kind of like we left this low here. So if we can leave one singular swing point as we retrace into entry, that's ideally what we'd actually want to see before the break lower. So we'll see if we can get that. Looking for entry at this point. Oh, we did manage to get in there. Cool. So we'll see if we break. Wouldn't be surprised because that is kind of a perfect delivery if we need to actually stab up into there before breaking lower. Kind of like that. So there's true reprice into that fair value gap, into the volume imbalance. Ideally from here we hold, create another leg lower. Say we displace through this fair value gap, we actually get to where our stop is. We're still going to have to wait for this high to actually be broken. As we said, I could see price trying to run it in this fair value gap and still rejecting. We don't want to allow that deep of a retracement, so our stop is of course right at the old liquidity. We'd ideally want this little structure to hold here. And that's why our stop's right above that. But if we do get above it, we'll have to wait and see if we want closure above the swing point and the fair value gap. If that happens, then we'll flip our bias and actually look for that buy side here that we originally were going to target. For now though, I don't mind looking for another sell-off. We're going to have to invert this, so what we want to see is like this bullish fair value gap being traded through. We don't want to see price hold that as a bullish discount. So far we weren't even able to get into that, so if we'd left that open, that would be even worse as well. If that stayed as like a breakaway and we closed above this here. Closure above, more than likely we're going to try to use that now as inversion. We would have to see this candlestick pretty much negate that in one motion, right? We'd want to get back below it. Because that did stay open, however, I'm thinking that we're going to just push straight up, try to retest that high there. Leave that open as well. So if we leave this open, that'd be even worse. So we're going to leave a bullish fair value gap as we create the inversion. That's pretty bullish. More than likely, we're going to try to hold that. If we don't even retest that though and just keep pushing, that's going to be a pretty strong bullish signature. At that point, as we said, we'll look for the break in structure to create more of a U2 model. Last line of defense here with this original fair value gap. Completely rebalanced, so we don't want to see midpoint. More likely than not, after hitting that, we will get some type of pullback like we're seeing. It's just a matter of whether or not this discount here is going to hold us. So we expect that for sure, but now this is kind of where we're really going to run into an issue. As we retest this inversion paired with the bullish fair value gap, we need to fall right through that ideally. I like that we were able to actually get below the bullish fair value gap there. Still not much hope because the actual inversion though, right? That's going to outweigh the 1 minute structure here, especially because it's anchored with the volume imbalance. So as we hit the low of that, we could still easily hold that and accelerate higher. We would need to see this candlestick pretty much stay inside of this fair value gap. If we close above again, this high will be the target. We've already immediately rebalanced the previous candle, so we would need to break from here, and this would need to be a swing high if we're going to expect this price to continue to roll over. If we get a candlestick that closes back above this candlestick's close, that will be a pretty bad sign for us. So this candle would need to hold, ideally get below. Oh, okay, were we able to? We did. So that's pretty small, but I like that, right? It's willing to get below and close below. Previous candle needs to hold that though, and ideally we just keep running. I don't like that every time we close, we have to retrace up into that range. We want to see it just stay heavy. Retest the fair value gap here. Old body holding, nice, beautiful. Love a good daily swing. This was going to be the issue though, as we said. When we get this type of delivery, if we're going to be bullish, it's going to create the run higher. It's going to leave an open inefficiency to trade into. And it's going to try to accelerate for the high again, picking up internal range liquidity in the form of this swing point here. So I like that we close below this, but if we test that fair value gap and close inside, we're almost expecting bullishness. Ooh, just like that. Okay, that wasn't good there. Because we pick up the short-term low, we hold a discount, we negate the old premium. We're going to hold that now and accelerate. Huge bullish candle there. We'll see if midpoint can hold. As we said, that's pretty much the last line of defense. We'd have to see that hold, followed by a sharp break lower. This ideally would then become a swing point. So once this candlestick closes, if we don't get taken out, we'll just put our stop there. Because if we run that, we're going to run the stop anyway. We'll just leave it. At that point, minuscule, no point. So as we said, that would need to be a swing high. This would have, we opened with a bullish volume imbalance, not good. This would have to go bearish, close that in. Cool. So we accelerate there. We said we do hold off that discount. That was going to be the issue. Inversion paired with bullish, especially because we closed right back inside that range. So very next candle, boom, we get that acceleration. We said we could retest this. We fully repriced into it. For us, as we said, we're going to have to watch for the closure now, though. So not much to do until we either break structure bullishly and close above the high as well as the inversion. Or we could kind of just get sloppy and be stuck between two sets of sell side here. We often see price will consolidate inside of areas like this. Okay, so we did get closure above. Let's clean some of this up. This becomes our interest here. I want to see how we interact with our first presented here this morning. Still ideally waiting for closure above the actual fair value gap. Got about 5 minutes, so at this point we're going to wait for 10 o'clock opening. See if we can't get power of 3. So we wouldn't mind price running here, 10 o'clock candle opening and giving us a retracement entry. So we can enter below the opening price of the new 1 hour candle. Especially because we did close. Okay, cool. So at this point we're going to commit to the idea that we actually want to go bullish. We tried our short. We really should have held this fair value gap. So the fact that we got above it, that's what led us to believe, even though we did get the slight retracement, it was simply going to hold the discount. So that sell side holds perfectly, creates the huge run up. At this point, we will look for price to target the buy side now. So as we said, we're going to wait for 10. We want to try to enter on the new hourly candlestick formation ideally. If it just runs from here and we kind of miss the entry and we get real aggressive, it'd just be a missed entry. First presented right here. We'll see if we close above that as well. And then ultimately we'll look to leave our new week opening gap. And Q closed above it. It's using that new week opening gap as support now, the high of it here. We'll use a 2-minute entry on the old high. So we're going to enter like this. If we can get that entry. Speed met with speed often, right? So that's something we're always going to expect to see. We get that speed lower, consecutive down close candles. So if we're going to run back on that, more often than not, it'll have that same type of delivery. Right? So we're getting those consecutive up close candles, refilling in that whole range pretty much. We did just close above. So honestly, we might just continue to slowly grind. We'll watch and tape read the most recent discount, playing into the idea that it's going to want to leave these fair value gaps here as breakaways. See if that would have panned out. NQ just delivers into its first presented. So we could see a quick little retracement here, but we honestly think new week opening gap will hold 2-minute fair value gap as well. Tape reading this little framework, Once 10 o'clock comes, our real entry will be, as we say, on the 2-minute. So if we don't give that deeper retracement, we'll be fine, kind of just missing out on it. If price wants to stay bullish and just run from the most recently formed discounts. That would be nice because we'll actually leave a 5-minute there as well. 5-minute fair value gap. So yeah, we like that. We're going to aim for the high. We've engineered and picked up a lot of the sell side on the way down. We've left mostly buy side, right? Leaving highs, left the high, left the relative equal highs. We did pick up that short-term high, but still relative equal highs. And now we've cleared that external range liquidity. We did fall just short of our midpoint. But we don't want to get too married to the idea that we have to get there, especially because NQ did get its midpoint. That's a pretty aggressive hold there. Yeah, we'll see if that wants to hold. If that becomes our swing low to create another bullish leg. We left some internal range, so that's not bad if we do want to fall, but it's looking like it's just going to want to stay accelerating. As you said, we're going to put our entry on the 2-minute. So at this point, we'll look for pretty much entry on the breaker, bullish breaker, stop loss below that candle to target the buy side. I like these equal highs here as well. Okay, cool. So new hourly candle opening. Excuse me, jeez. Where we also have the hourly midpoint aligned with our first presented. That's kind of why we're thinking we may just hold there and accelerate. New hourly candlestick did open. First presented is below the opening price, so that would really be efficient enough for power of 3 if it doesn't want to give any deeper retracement. We'll still look for 2-minute here. It's going to be inside the 5-minute as well. So in case we can get that retracement, we'll be a little bit patient here. Let's say that we accelerate, clear buy side. Honestly, I'm not convinced if we get this high that we're going to want to fully break, so we will leave the entry. If we engage that, we often see where price will hit buy side, retrace into open inefficiencies, and then continue in that given direction to target the next liquidity. That's kind of the framework that we would have to expect if we're going to deliver into buy side before we get our entry. Ideally, we kind of hold in this whole jumbled mess from the opening. We create another lower high below these relative equal highs. We then retrace to pick up the short-term low, give us our entry, and then we try to break. New week opening gap, more than likely should hold an NQ as well. All right, let's see what we get. We're trying to hold that first presented pretty aggressively, so we're getting stuck at the high of our new week opening gap. If we close above that, I don't think we'll get that retracement until buy side. We'd want to hold our opening range gap in the time being, hold the opening range as well. This is where we can get back below our first presented. I wouldn't mind that in the short term. As we know, consolidation either leads to the expansion or the reversal. If we get closure above new week opening gap, we will expect more of an expansion. We are hoping we should get some better movement than we had recently, though, the past month or so. At all-time highs. Uncertainty. So now we have quite the range to retrace into. And yeah, first presented is going to want to hold. We get that acceleration right through. Right, notice we're holding that new week opening gap. Oh, bring it back. So we're holding that new week opening gap, previous day's low. We then accelerate right through that. That's going to release us into our buy side. And more than likely, our new week opening gap paired with this down close candle will be the new area that holds. So we'll continue to tape read that. First presented held nicely. So yeah, that one would have played out nice. Just didn't execute. Right, we want a deeper retracement, fall just short. We'll still hold on to the idea that we can clear the buy side, retrace into open inefficiencies before creating another run, especially because the 5 minutes is going to be left open here. Oh, that is first presented. This more than likely would be institutional order flow here because this wick is already priced into most of that fair value gap. So all price has to return into is really this tiny section in price, and that's what we just saw. So that would be that institutional order flow entry. That's all it's going to give, and then it'll accelerate to clear that high, target the buy side. And Q got above its first presented here. So same idea. That first presented more than likely will try to support price, and we'll just continue to print higher now until we reach our objective buy side. From there, ideally, we'll want that sell-off to return into an inefficiency. But if we close right above that level, we'll just look for the next buy side to be reached pretty quickly. A lot of lows created here, trendline liquidity. That usually means that as we accelerate, we're going to get quick, large moves higher to leave and move away from these lows. The longer we spend kind of near something like this, right, the easier it'll be to create that low resistance liquidity run that runs out that trend line. That's why we really wouldn't mind a quick wick of the buy side to try to close back in the range. If we did that, we would actually expect that break lower, which would be nice. Same idea here in NQ, right? So this fair value gap paired with our new week opening gap as we run that low, pick up some inter-range liquidity, deliver into higher time frame key area. So we already have picked up some liquidity, where we get the relative equal highs here. We get these highs as well, and this high. So we've pretty much cleared every high besides the true external range swing point here. As you said, more than likely, we're going to hold this very small area in price, just like we saw with the body. We're going to create another equal low, or a higher low, excuse me, which creates that trendline liquidity, continues to print it. Then if we could engage the buy side and attack that liquidity, that's what we would expect there. I will be right back. Consolidating again. The fact that we held that though, yeah, I think we'll just run the high. That would have been a nice little scalp potentially. Yeah, with these large ranges, it'll be pretty easy to get those ends models entries again, so that'll be one beneficial thing. 5 handles is light work in these large ranges. So the fact that we are stalling here, okay, it leaves almost no doubt in my mind that we are going to engage the buy side. This is a textbook price delivery mechanism that we often see, stalling just short of actual external ranges. Get more people to pile in shorts here, right? Whatever retail they like to think of. Triple tops or whatever. Supply zone. Only after clearing the buy side will we want to see that sharp break. Because then we want to almost bait people to follow this higher. Right, breaking through a level like this and then try to retrace back on that to take them out as well would be nice. To then hold from entry to then run back into the buy side. Max carnage. There's the acceleration. Next candle should run into the buy side. Cool. All right, there it is, right through it. So from here, we'd want to see ideally that candlestick close back inside the range and then fall to attack this low. So first thing we're looking for is retracement, close back underneath the original buy side. What time is it? 10:30. Okay. Admittedly, let's say that we just stay bullish. We run this buy side. We won't have many more targets. Don't want to be chasing. We could get like this. We'll just label all the buy side pulls just to have. So we actually do get closure above. Okay. Watch and see if we leave a fair value gap. If we're going to leave a fair value gap here, more than likely we're going to want to stay bullish into our next objective here. And we may just have to try to hop on board. We put in new structure. So we actually do clear a swing low with this swing low. And it holds an old wick. All right, so holding at a discount perfectly. Yeah. That may be our new protected low. So we'll have to go in something like this to get that high. We do leave that. Okay, so we're just going to follow. We'll hop on. Looks like we're going to stay bullish. So laggy, please. Hello. All right, second entry. We're gonna look for just a simple, quick continuation. We'll actually just go low hanging fruit and use the buy side. So I'm fine to open it up a little bit more. We'll see if we can't run into the buy side there. As soon as we get this high, we'll just go straight to break even. I want to get the actual external range up here. As you said, 5 handles would be pretty easy to get in this type of delivery. I mean, it's already 5 handles there. We just want to let it run a little bit. So we'll just look for 10 at least. Beautiful. So that's pretty much what we want. We just want to see quick acceleration. I guess we'll put these back up. All right, so the first loss here. Trying to short. Now we'll look to try to get long and finish the rest of that continuation into equal highs here. So that becomes target equal highs. Closure above. Nice. Okay, so we should just keep printing. And I like the exit at the 1 hour bearish fair value gap. That is also a swing point. So that's going to be final exit. As we said, we're going to try to just do a full pull into that. As we get into here, we'll go break even. And if we get stopped at break even, we'll just be content with that. We should get that buy side fairly easy. Once again, creating the higher lows. As we said, this is the most recent low that actually clears a short-term low and it returns into a discount. So that's why we're using that as our protected low in this current run higher. This low really should also be protected now, especially because we closed above this high. We're going to allow price some room though to kind of maneuver. So we won't move our stop just yet. We'll wait until that buy side, as we said. See if we can't get back up into half standard deviation point. So we got our half standard deviation here. It's a good area to target. This is terrible if I'm being honest though. We don't like that. That just screams absolute elevator down. That's why the longer we do this, the more we need to see an actual just huge like displacement away from this area, right? Displace away, leave a breakaway gap, and then just move higher. So you want to leave some type of gap open rather than whatever we're doing here. It's terrible. No good. We close in the bullish volume imbalance. I don't like that. We then just close in the bearish volume imbalance. Just said the longer we spend here, the more we're gonna need to accelerate quickly. We got our swing low entry, so that's a good sign. Now we just want to see the expansion. As you said, I don't even want to see this low being touched. I don't want to see midpoint of this candle being touched. All I want to see is the wick here being used. So we should just use this and continue to push. This should be a swing low here. NQ just ran the high though. That's not good right there. We run the high here. We don't run the high here. We need to be pretty much the same. We want to see same delivery in both at this point. We don't want to start creating some SMT. Swing low, so because of that, this candle needs to clear this high. We don't want to see this candle get stuck below this high. And as it does get above it, it needs to close above it. It shouldn't be a wick. So there it is getting above it. But as we said, it should not be a wick. It should be full push through with closure above to then release perfectly into buy side, just like that. Just like that. That's what we need. Okay, but this needs to stay. So we need to truly displace, right? We want full displacement, full closure above a buy side pull. Because of that, we're going to put our low to our protected low. Because this will be very easy to fall back on ourselves here. Depending on how this closes, I might just go break even. That's terrible right there. We'll just go break even. We don't want to have any risk in this right now. As I said, I want this to hold. So we need to just push. Because that's not a good sign. That's kind of what we would have wanted to see here. But because we close above with the fair value gap, that's why we enter. So here we want to see the same closure above and ideally just push. As we said, we'll go full pull for that final buy side there. I'm going to go ahead and move stop to cover some commission. I like this in NQ, right? That's exactly what we want. So we want that displacement. We love the liquidity void. We want that to stay open, and we want this to just run away from all of this. That will give us confidence that we can actually continue to stay pretty bullish, and we should get our buy side pretty easily. There's going to be a lot of fair value gaps though, right? 2 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. We're looking for the 1 hour here. That's kind of the final objective. That's the only inefficiency on an hourly sense. So that's what we're going to use. But if the higher time frame doesn't really want to get there, that's when we're going to run into issues. Yeah, that's not good there. This cannot be a swing high. That'd be worst case scenario to print a swing high here at this buy side. Same idea in NQ. We don't want to see this, right? We want this to be a breakaway. So we don't want to see price even attempt to come back into that. What we would want instead is the wick to be the gap. So we create the wick, next candle pushes and closes above. That's all we would want to see be the discount and leave that open here, this fair value gap. That should lead to more bullishness. In ES, we'd want to see price push right through this wick, not create that as a swing high and close above our buy side. NQ is doing what we want. I don't like that ES is getting stuck there though while NQ is doing that. Maybe we just call, let's see, do we just take... Maybe we just take our profits and call it. We'll see if we build a swing high here. Yeah, we don't like that. And we close below the fair value gap there. So we're starting to put in unfavorable delivery at this point. We need to hold this wick. Ideally, we get right back above this and reclaim this. So this is the instance where we would want to see level broken. Next candle negate that, close back above that level to create continued delivery higher. that needs to take place there. And Q is pretty much doing exactly what we would expect. So that's beautiful, right? It's going to leave the breakaway. But the fact that we're so aggressive here and we cannot get above the buy side, not a good sign. We get closure above buy side, we're jamming our stop all the way up here. That'll be a 5-handle stop. So that way we could secure ourselves an ends model at least. And if it runs back on us, oh well, we secure our ends model. If it stays bullish, we get our full profit. Needs to close above that buy side. If it gets closure above, we should release. Okay, closure above, bearish volume imbalance, don't like that, but we should just release from here. New protected low. Buy side target. Maybe we go for our opening range midpoint. Hold up. What's that at? Ah, right here. Nah, we're good. We'll be content. We'll just go for the buy side there. A lot of inefficiencies that we can get stuck at, so. If we clear that high, the hourly, I just don't see us clearing that and not getting into midpoint. Let's see, if we get closure above the high, we'll open that up and we'll be aggressively trailing with our stop. I just like the idea of trying to get our midpoint. As you said, I don't see a world where we run out the buy side and we fall just short of that. So we are going to go like that. And we'll allow the run, especially with, I mean, NQ is doing exactly what we want, right? So ES should catch up and just stay bullish. Once we get this buy side, we'll do this actually. So let's say that we clear, right? We engage buy side. If we get a wick, I'll move the target to simply take us out on the next test of that buy side. If we can get a candle that pushes right through, closes above, boom, closure above, we leave that and we look for, right, that to be used for support to get us into midpoint. So 2 scenarios there. Ideally, scenario 2 pans out for us. So we target our opening range midpoint is what we got here. Oh. We can use this one. Ideally that stays open as well, but we do allow retracement into this. This one still needs to stay open. And now over here on the ES, this wick is what should hold price. There's the engagement of buy side. So as we said, we did just close above it. So I'm fine letting it run. We'll let it run a little bit. Stop there. Even more than 5. So we're perfect here. Yep. We're comfortable, risk-free, profit secured. We'll let it see if it wants that final exit there. Wait, you guys know what we need to do. Boom. Trusty magnet. Never fails. 100% win rate if we're being honest with the magnet. I'm feeling next candle though. Not this candle. Next candle magnet. I'm telling y'all, magnet never fails. Next candle. Volume imbalancy, the magnet was already pulling the opening higher. We're about to accelerate right into that hoe. Simply baiting, retesting buy side paired with fair value gap, and then we get the acceleration to leave the volume imbalance open. Opening range gap midpoint. There's fair value gap. Now we'll look for that quick rejection. Ah, bad magnet play. Over. All right, next candle. Swing high. We don't like the swing high if we're being honest. We don't want that to be a swing. Ideally, this candle runs that high. We get a swing high here that will lead more than likely to this here being tested. And that's not what we want to see. Just want to stay bullish. Right, instead of using this, we want to use this here. And just stay bullish. Another bullish volume imbalance. I like that. And Q cleared the high. And Q, oh, it did. Okay. That's okay though. This candle will get it. That's my fault. I didn't make the magnet big enough. Bigger magnet, stronger pull. This is actually Enigma. You guys just didn't know it. Uh-oh, it's playing us. It's playing us. We got too confident in the magnet. It said, not today. I'm telling you, magnet never fails. Those equal highs though, that is crazy. We should get that. That's where you just commit to it. And if you get ran back on, that's part of it. We just get a 20 handle candle straight down. Oh, just like that in NQ. Oops, spoken into existence. I don't mind that actually, because if ES can hold that while NQ slips a little bit. We don't like that we had SMT though. That's terrible. This candle would need to absolutely go. We do not want to see this touch buy side and reject. Oh, just like that. That's the worst case scenario. All right, we'll see. We might get here. We still commit though. We like it. You know what we are gonna do? If this candlestick stays how it looks like it's about to, oh yeah, that is worst case scenario. We're just gonna exit on that buy side. Because NQ is about to dump right into that inefficiency. We're doing it now. I don't like that this candle gave that buy side back up, so we'll look for a quick retrace of the buy side, but look for stop here. All right, this candlestick needs to hold. So we need to bounce from here, ideally right back up into buy side. And then we'll get out there. Magnet back to buy side. Midpoint, forget it, don't like it. Worried about the volume imbalance here, to be honest. Because of that, we go low hanging fruit and we exit on the low of the inversion. Because this volume imbalance might not even give us a chance to get that high. Yikes. Yeah, we don't like that right there. Should be right though. Right, new low being put into place. So if this swing low can hold, we'll feel pretty confident that we'll at least retest the inversion here. I really do want to leave it though, because that high up here, these look too clean. But we'll just be content. That swing low does hold. See, this is where I get a little conflicted. True, true. Come on. Oh yeah, you can't beat that magnet for sure. Look, it's gonna go right into that. Look at the pull on that. That's so much strength. Actually, what I found helps. You don't make the magnet bigger, right? That makes it heavier. What you need to do, you double magnet. If you have 2 magnets, 2 is always better than 1. I just imagine someone coming in for the first time or something. Like, this dude is a scam. He's just trading magnets. What is he doing? For real. Look at that. No, see, that's crazy right there. It's playing with us for sure. Market makers are watching. We actually hit our exit, but we didn't even get it. That's disrespect. More than likely, we will blast right through this, but I'm fine getting out here. It's one of those things, like, if we do get back above that volume imbalance, we should release pretty easily. It's just a matter of getting above it. We're not liking how aggressive we're getting stuck there. You have to go top. There it is. I had the magnets lined up wrong. That's on me. Bruh. Closure above. There it is. Release perfectly into it, and we're out. I love it. Boom. As I said, more than likely, because of that, we're just going to accelerate right through these highs, and we'll actually come to where we want it to. But I'm perfectly content just letting that run. Right? That's okay. You can have your expectations, but you always get out on the low barrier for exit. So we get out right on buy side. And as we said, that's only, what, a few handles from the buy side here, so there's no need to be that greedy. Cool. I wouldn't mind if that's a swing high. Let's wait for that. Yeah, I would. Right, as I said, that's what we were talking about, but at a certain point, you just get content with exiting. Rather than fighting price, you just take your money and dip. And right, as we said, do we really want to fight for another 3-4 handles? Nah, not worth. Beauty. All right, be a swing high there. I wouldn't mind that. We're gonna wait because we want the swing high. Don't you get that? You better stay. You're gonna stay right where you are. Yep. Hold the buy side. All right, buy side does not want to give. Right here. We close below that again. Swing high exit. And that's kind of why we did that, right? Just in case. I like to always plan for worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is we hit the buy side, we break lower, and we don't even run into midpoint until the afternoon. So if that's the case, where's the easiest area to get out? Oh, wait, equal highs still count. Equal highs do still count. Oh, okay. That's aggressive. So that would have been our true exit right there, is midpoint right there. Let's bring back midpoint just to see. It disrespected us in the last second. But we have midpoint now delivered. I believe so. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Too much going on. Let's hide that. And that's good. Yeah, look at that. Wow, that's beautiful. Nice. So right, you just chalk that up as another added win. So we got out. Price delivered perfectly into our objective. Win-win. That would have been the swing high. That would have been so clean. That's the only thing that gets me salty. I like swing high exits for aesthetics. Oh well. But there we go. We'll call it a day there. So quick recap. We're at ES. We came into the day looking for the buy side here. So that's originally what we wanted. As we started moving lower aggressively, we closed below this low. We held that. And then we actually closed below this low as well with another fair value gap. We tried to simply be involved there, trying to short that old liquidity to target this short-term low. The stop loss was right above the old sell side. Slight consolidation, and then we had that huge release bullish. At that point, we're following it, we're noticing that first presented holds. That's extremely bullish, right? We said these will be breakaways if target is buy side. That's what happens there. We then push through another swing point, leaving another discount. We said if we're going to stay bullish, right, that'll hold. Once that held and accelerated us through the buy side, leaving a new discount, at that point, there's no point in trying to fight the trend. Price has shown us multiple times it wants to stay bullish. It's shown us multiple times it's not going to give a deep retracement. So there's no need to worry about entering here because we understand the most recent discount will hold and we have a new protected low that was already put in place. For us, target then becomes buy side. But ultimately, we did want midpoint, so that would have been a beautiful exit there on the swing high. Unfortunate, but we are content with the buy side objective. We enter on the fair value gap, enter on the old buy side pool. Price then just continues with that bullish delivery, respecting all the discounts all the way up. A very easy read right at that point. And now we've delivered into our objective. Overall, it still looks bullish. So this retracement simply was just returning into, once again, another discount. We said that wick would be allowed to be used. New objective now would become buy side. So if you guys are going to be around, you can continue to follow that and just see if we'll stay bullish. This is now a protected low because we picked up a short-term low inside of a discount. So like for me, entry would be on buy side, new protected low for the next buy side. Pretty much what we did here. Just going buy side to buy side, buy side to buy side. Yeah, I hope you guys found that helpful. Once again, another example of not being worried to take a loss, not being worried to flip the bias. And also not feeling like you're chasing price. Right? A lot of people might feel like this is chasing because price is already all the way up here and we have all these inefficiencies, but we understand everything down here is balanced. So really, as soon as we closed above, right, same idea, as soon as we closed above this high, this whole range is balanced and there's no need to return into it. That's why we see, right, as soon as this candle leaves that range, we don't get any candlestick that returns into it. We displace out of it, new discount holds, we leave that balanced price range intact, and we accelerate. So yeah, I like that. There's no questions or anything. We'll go ahead and call it a day there. Would have been nice to get first presented, right? But as we said, we don't need to be greedy. Going forward, I do like, it's looking pretty bullish here now. Let's clear everything real quick. Let's give a little higher time frame analysis. Clear it all. So in a daily sense, this huge daily candle cleared pretty much all that liquidity and we come back into the original consolidation. New week opening gap holds. These highs are just way too clean, right? That's all-time highs we expect again, for sure. No doubt about that. So going forward, we're going to look for that. Simple runs into all-time highs. We get above this fair value gap, that should hold us, and we should use that as a discount. So that's what we're going to watch going forward. Obviously, we'll have to wait for tomorrow, or maybe even this afternoon. But we get 15-minute closure above this. We expect that to now become our new discount. And really, something like this should be a breakaway gap. So if we do get closure above this 15-minute, we would not expect a deeper retracement into this here, right? This should stay open. This one here could be used just because it's anchored into the low. But even this one, like we would want to see the lower half of this being left open. So it really would be something like this, right? But we'll just see how that plays out. Tomorrow we have, let me see real quick. So no news tomorrow. And then on Thursday, once again, tentative with the government shutdown. Garbage government. So tomorrow will just be a normal day. We'll come here at 9:25 again and see what we can get. Thursday we'll plan for the same regardless. 9:25. And then Friday, no news, so Friday we'll probably take off as well. But yeah, we'll plan to meet up again tomorrow morning, 9:25 Eastern. Until then, hope you guys have a great morning. Stay safe. Hope you learned something today. And we will talk again tomorrow. Take care, fellas.